I'd like to give you some thoughts today on study. Study. These are three things that I think we ought to study, and I hope there'll be something that's a little bit different for you to think about. You know, not the normal. I try to give you a challenge of something that you should study that's not, quite what everybody else thinks. Of course, the first study is from 1 Thessalonians 4:11, and that ye study to be quiet and do your own business and to work with your own hands as we commanded you. Well, what do you study to do what? Study to be quiet. Did you know you had to study to be quiet? I can't even tell you how much you show how smart you are by being quiet. That is what I'm talking about here, is be quiet. Proverbs 29:11 says, a fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in until afterwards. So don't say everything you think. If I could ever give anybody an admonition on how to get along with people more, it's by being quiet. The pause. Use the pause a lot to stop yourself from saying something you shouldn't say, to keep yourself from making mistakes. I'm telling you, as a person that's a talker, I really need this thought and have really tried, since I've been studying this verse, I'm thinking, man, I really needed that. And then, of course, study to do your own business. That's what it says there. First it says study to be quiet, then it says study to do your own business. Well, can I tell you my favorite thing to do is to mind other people's businesses? Because I think if they would just, know what I know, and let me help them fix this, they'd be so much better off. But you know what? I'm supposed to study to mind my own business. That's what 1 Thessalonians 4:11 says. Do your own business. I should be so busy doing my own business that I don't have time to worry about anybody else's. As I am around my in-laws, my daughter-in-laws, and my kids, my daughter and my sons, in this time we're around each other a little bit more, I'm even more realizing that it's none of my business. How they do that, it's none of my business. How they spend their money, it's none of my business. All of us that know each other's business, we got to realize if you know their business, that doesn't give you a license to mind their business. So don't give yourself in to be a busybody. That's what 1 Peter 4:15 says. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. So keep your nose out of other people's business. So then it says study to be quiet, study to do your own business. Then the third one is study to work with your own hands. And of course, the best verse for that is 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Now, look, that's not a verse for the lazy or faint at heart. You've got to be a worker. If you're going to study, you got to know how to work with your hands. I'm looking at my hands right now. I got a smashed fingernail from working. My hands look pretty work worn, and I'm glad they are. I need to be a worker because the Bible teaches us that lazy people don't accomplish much. So the next time you want to just lay around, I'll be honest with you, I'm on the radio right now because I was thinking about these verses, and I was thinking, I need to record some more. I wanted to just lay in the chair and look out the window and watch I got some beautiful weather going on right where I'm at right now. But I said, you know what? I need to do these radio programs so I can send them in for Janice Wolf so she can put them on the air. So I didn't do it. But, I have to work. I've got to do what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it. That's what work is. So these are the three studies from 1 Thessalonians 4:11. Study to be quiet, study to do your own business, and study to work with your own hands. Let's go out and study today, ladies. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice.